First episode, or first lesson, I guess, of Rocket League 101 with Dutch. I'm going to go over a bunch of basics here. If you guys want to learn anything more, obviously keep watching these videos, but also head over to twitch.tv/Captain Dutch. And every Tuesday and Saturday Mountain Time, I'm streaming from about 7 or 8 to 11 to normally we go a little later, but and every stream, everybody who's in chat and follows me gets entered in, and we pull one of those people in for replay analysis. So a little more individual coaching, but make sure you tune in to be a part of that. What we're going over today, the first lesson, is about setting up. So you've just bought this game, you have no idea what's going on, or you're within your first couple hundred hours. To some people that seems crazy, but yeah, your first couple hundred hours is when you're getting set up. First thing you're going to want to do, we'll go to the main menu so I can show you what you want to do. First of all, your garage where you can go in and customize your cars. You can create little presets, go in there and bounce around, look at stuff. Your inventory is all your fun things that you earn just through playing the game. That's always fun. But training is where you'll spend a lot of your time, or where you should spend a lot of your time. I spend a lot of my time in free play. The tutorials are a really good place to start if you literally just started. I would kind of... I'll do something on these, but probably avoid these. Just go through the tutorial. Maybe the first of the two of these before you go out into the world. But free play is great. You can choose your map. I like Beckwith Park or Utopia Coliseum because they're daylight and they're pretty. So now you've spawned in. You want to pause your game, go to options, change your input buffer to CSTS. If you guys haven't done that, there's a problem right now with the legacy input buffer where if you tab in and out of your game, you have crazy latency, and CSTS kind of helps to minimize that. There's a whole episode of it by Rocket Science. There's a Rocket League individual who does science stuff, and I'll post that video down in the comments in case you guys want to see more about that. It's very interesting. I love his content. It's so good. We'll reference more of his stuff later throughout this tutorial. But you want to go to camera. You want to shut off camera shake. I mean, you can keep it on if you really want to, but it's just bothersome and it gets in the way. And if you get motion sick, it's terrible. Your field of view, you want to move up. I think by default it's all the way down here, which is just, it's just bad. Here are my settings. I play really close to my car. These you're going to want to personalize for sure. So field of view is the amount of... Field of view is this, right? If you put your hands up to your head like this, your field of view is whatever percentage is right in front of you. So a 90-degree field of view means if you put your hands at 90 degrees on either side of your head, that's 90 degrees field of view. Distance is how far the camera is. There's actually a little camera that follows your car around in this game, and that's what you're seeing. Your distance is your distance, how far away the camera is from the back of your car. Height is how high the camera is off the ground. Angle is the angle at which the camera behind views your car, right? How high up, like this. And then stiffness is when you start going faster. I'll have to show you this. I wish the camera follows me. So see where my bumper is right now? And as I go faster, it pulls away. That's stiffness. It's how tightly the camera follows you. Does it ever lag behind you? I like having, I have a 0.6 of stiffness, so it's not all the way stiff, but this allows me to see when I'm going faster, when I'm going slower, just by visual. And the faster I go, the more field it shows me. And the slower I go, the tighter it pulls me in, because normally I'm going slow when I'm dribbling the ball. Swivel speed is when you're looking around. You can look around on using your right stick if you're using a controller, or I think just your mouse if you're using keyboard mouse. And your transition speed is, if you switch between, there's one mode, something called ball cam, which you guys have just seen me use. This arrow means ball cam is off, so my camera is just following me, following my car, staying behind my car perfectly. If I turn ball cam on, it'll always watch the ball. And this throws a lot of new players off, and is takes a little minute to get used to, because you're right. If I'm facing like this, my right is left and my left is right now, which is probably the first thing to overcome when you're starting Rocket League. But it's very common for you to like pop into ball cam, through the ball is, pop out of ball cam, drive over to it, pop out of ball cam. You know, that's fine while you're getting used to it. Controller settings. So before we go over controller settings, there are kind of three, well, there are lots of options. Two big ones: keyboard and mouse, which Johnny Boy and a few others have almost like a, I can link him down below. He's a great resource too if you're learning. Kind of like a very aggressive view. It's a very small percentage of players, but keyboard and mouse is one way to play the game. And keyboard and mouse players love keyboard and mouse, and controller players love controllers, and normally there's nobody who really plays both. Normally somebody has a very strong opinion on it. So you can play keyboard and mouse or controller. Most people play controller. I find controller easier because I grew up playing racing games, and so controller makes sense to me. You can use any controller that can plug into your computer, or if you're on Xbox or PlayStation, obviously you just have it, or Switch, you obviously just have your controller. You can't use keyboard and mouse without heavy modification. So first thing is whatever's most comfortable for you. All this stuff, controller dead zone, steering sensitivity, leave all that for now. What this is just saying is, unless you're a really know exactly what you want when it comes to racing games or something, and you've messed with your dead zones, then you know what this is. Dodge dead zone is how far if you're using a controller, how far forward your stick needs to be when you dodge, for the dodge to actually activate, and for it to not to ignore it. If you're just starting out, that's not going to be a big deal. If you've played for a while and you find yourself dodging, like backflipping when you're trying to aerial, or not flipping when you're trying to flip, you can mess with your dodge dead zone. Steering sensitivity, same thing, but just for the sensitivity. Aerial sensitivity, how fast you flip around in the air. Mouse sensitivity is the sensitivity of your mouse. And then the keyboard input acceleration time. You're doing things like left and right and gas and brake. On a controller, I have to push this trigger all the way down, and there's that travel time that you can I can just barely push it down and accelerate, or I can push it down all the way and accelerate fully. You don't have that same control when a keyboard is, the W key, if you're going forward, is either all the way down or not. So the input acceleration time is how fast it takes for that to actually be fully on and fully off. Ball camera is actually a thing. People, you can either toggle it or hold it. So toggle it is you hit the button to turn it on or off, and it will stay on or off. The hold is if it's on and it'll permanently be off, I think, if you hold. Yeah, so it'll be permanently off, and then will only be on while you hold it. There are pros who there are world-class players who play like this. Fireburner plays like this. Don't get drowned in a lot of these. Really, the important ones are camera. If you don't know what to do, you can start with mine. There are websites with tons and tons of pro. You can literally just Google Rocket League Pro camera settings and just throw one of them on there. Not a big deal. And then mess with it as you feel comfortable. Controls. Some pros have really wacky controls, so once you've decided, you have which one you want. If you're on PC, if you're on console, I'm pretty sure these are locked in. You might be able to go in and mess with them, but I'm pretty sure they're locked in. So on PC, you can go in, and if there are things you don't like, you can change them. I know Rizzo is one that has a super wacky, he's a pro player who has super wacky controls. His right stick, so this one, if you can see that, this one, if you press it forward, is go forward, and backwards is braking. It's super weird. Instead of, you know, gas and brake, it's gas and brake. Just super weird to me. But it works for him, and he's a pro player. So come in here, mess around, whatever feels comfortable. If you don't have something that you're used to, then just play as is for a while. I would recommend moving boost off of the regular B. By default, it's B or circle or F, I think, on keyboard. And so I changed it to left mouse click, or it would be left bumper or L1, because I like to be able to power slide and jump while I'm boosting, and it just makes it easier. That way your right thumb has more freedom. But that's my only like out of the box thing. Okay, so that's that. Now we have choosing your car, and choosing your car is kind of a big deal because you want a car that you play well with. Let me bring up a fun little picture. So there are, I believe, let's see, there are, I'm going to link this down below. It's a Reddit about the hitboxes. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presets. There's the Octane preset, the Dominance preset, the Plank, the Hybrid, the Breakout, and the Hybrid. Those are, if you guys aren't familiar with a hitbox is the actual, there's the physical brick that the ball interacts with, the ball actually touches, and then there's the visual piece that you actually see. So the Dominance I've been playing with, as you can see visually, the Dominance extends past the hitbox, which if we go into the game, see how it hovers above my car? It's because the hitbox is taller than my car model, they call it. When you're starting out, it's good to just, this is just, you know, how hitboxes operate, just so when you're playing the game, you're like, why is it floating on top of my car, not actually touching my car? Why do I look like I'm touching the ball when I'm not? Why does it look like I'm not touching the ball when I am? This kind of answers that question right off the bat. A very, very popular cars right now are the Dominus, the Octane, and the Batmobile, and those are just very popular in the pro scene. As you can see, the Octane, most of the hitbox seems to make sense, right? There's just one little section that has a big gap in where the ball would actually, so the ball was coming in, the ball would bounce off right here. So the ball would bounce right here. It wouldn't go all the way down to the car and bounce. It would hit off the hitbox and bounce. So this box is invisible while you play, but it's what the ball interacts with. One of my favorites actually is the Venom, because it fits so well, I think. I mean, it's shorter for sure. There's a lot of open space here and on the sides. So the top isn't as good, but the sides make a lot of sense, which I'm all about. And the front makes sense. Like the front, you see where the front is, right? It ends pretty much the same spot. So I like the Venom. Can't go wrong with Octane. But I would challenge you, if you just started this and you're not quite sure what to pick, or you're not quite sure on the car, go try each of them out. By default, you have a bunch of free options just by the game. I think you have to play a while and you unlock the cars as you play. It's been so long since I've had to do that. But all these ones that are just black background, not like faded or yellow or red or anything, are default in the game. You don't have to buy them. So Backfire, Breakout, Hotshot, Gizmo, Octane, Merc, Paladin, Roadhog, Venom, and X-Devil are all based in the game. So I'd play through all of those. Play a game with all of them. See what you like. That's it for the first episode. So we went over, you know, choosing your camera settings, and I showed you mine. Controller settings, whether you're going to use a controller versus mouse or keyboard. Ball cam, whether you're going to hold or toggle it, and kind of how to learn using it, and choosing your car. And that will conclude our first episode. And your homework is to just go over all those settings and to play a game with every car. We'll see you in the next one.